So, I was reading David Icke's latest book, The Perception Deception, £35.85 including postage and packaging, when on page 297, David Icke started discussing Peter Morrison, who was a close aide to Margaret Thatcher and was apparently an open paedophile, as David Icke says. Then on page 299, he quotes from Edwina Currie's published diaries. One appointment in the recent reshuffle has attracted a lot of gossip and could be very dangerous. Peter Morrison has become the PM's parliamentary private secretary. Now he's what they call a noted pederast, with a liking for young boys. He admitted as much to Norman Tebbit when he became deputy chairman of the party, but added, however, "I'm very discreet." David Icke's point in all this is that nobody went to the police about Peter Morrison when it was apparently very well known in the Conservative Party that he liked young boys. Icke goes on in his book, "Tebbit likes to claim the moral high ground, but we need some serious answers to some serious questions about why he, Margaret Thatcher, and other key aides and ministers like Willie Whitelaw, Leon Britton and Lord McAlpine, including Edwina Currie, did not expose this well-known paedophile to the police and the public, instead of giving him jobs in the party and government and allowing him to be right in there amongst Thatcher's inner circle for 15 years. Icke then states, "I know why they didn't, but they must be held to account and asked for their own alleged reason, why they didn't go to the police." Having read this, a little spark went off in my mind that I had seen or heard somewhere that the People's Voice had interviewed Edwina Currie. Great, I thought. I wonder what she said when they asked her in the interview why she didn't inform the police about Peter Morrison and his young boys. Because, as we are told time and time again, the People's Voice is different. If there's a story, they're going after it, regardless.
In so many ways, in terms of the free flow of information, this is the last chance corral. The mainstream media are being pushed back and pushed back, the farcical level of truth and exposure that they were involved in before. They're being pushed back all the time. The alternative media, overwhelmingly fantastic, wonderful people doing wonderful things, but they're increasingly holding the line to censorship and internet censorship. What we're intending to do is to run at them in that direction and start reeling this back. And when they come and say you can't do this, you can't do that, we'll say, watch us. Watch us. What are you going to do about it?
So, Richie Allen had been presented with the perfect opportunity to ask Edwina Currie why she didn't go to the police. Synchronicity at its best, no doubt. And with Richie Allen being a mate of David Icke, I'm sure he knows all about Peter Morrison and Edwina Currie's admission from her published diaries. The interview didn't start very well, and it went downhill from there.
But we were always going to chat with Edwina Currie, former health minister and author, who's an old pal of mine. She was going to join me anyway, and there's plenty. Who's an old pal of mine.
It was 26,000 cases.
Sorry, 26,000, yeah, in a population of so many million.
That's no big deal?
It sounds pretty, it does sound pretty big to me. And the argument could be made, and it has been made in some of the broadsheet papers last week, is that it could have been much worse if you hadn't to come out as strongly as you did.
He did ask about the banks and Osborne spending 10 million on a particular office, but if I'm being completely honest, I've seen Aled Jones be tougher on guests than Richie Allen was in this particular interview. Needless to say, he didn't mention Peter Morrison once. But then I'm sure Richie Allen didn't want to upset his great mate Edwina Currie. Pathetic. Maybe he did ask her, and I just couldn't understand a word he was saying. Who knows? But the People's Voice is hardly the "if there's a story, we're going after it" station that it was sold to us that it was going to be.
What we're intending to do is to run at them in that direction and start reeling this back. And when they come and say you can't do this, you can't do that, we'll say, watch us. Watch us. What are you going to do about it?
Groundbreaking doesn't really spring to mind.